Imagine the power goes out tonight. Not for 5 seconds, not long enough for your Wi-Fi to blink and come back. I mean the real kind of darkness. The kind where the room disappears, the walls vanish, and your own hand becomes a rumor in front of your face. Most of us would reach for a phone within 10 seconds. But for almost the entire story of our species, there was no phone. No lamp, no streetlight leaking through the window, no glowing clock beside the bed. When the sun went down, the world did not become dim. It became dangerous. I find that hard to sit with because modern life has trained us to treat darkness like a small inconvenience, something you fix with a switch. But for your ancestors, darkness was not an inconvenience. It was an environment. It was half of reality. For more than 300,000 years, Homo sapiens lived under a sky that modern people almost never see. And long before us, older human relatives were already learning the one technology that would change the night forever: fire. At Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, researchers have found evidence of burned material deep inside the cave, dating back roughly 1 million years. Think about what that means. Somewhere in the ancient dark, a human ancestor carried flame into stone and made night negotiable. Before fire, sunset was not romantic. It was a command. Stop moving! Find cover! Stay quiet! Because our eyes are not built like the eyes of night hunters. A leopard could read the dark like a map. Hyenas could move through it with confidence. Wolves could smell what they could not see, but a human in open darkness was slow, loud, soft-skinned, and almost blind. Then fire drew a border. On one side of that border was warmth, faces, smoke, cooked food, and the sound of other people breathing. On the other side was every pair of eyes waiting beyond the glow. That circle of light may have been small, but psychologically, it was enormous. For the first time, night was not just something humans survived. It became something humans could use. And this is where the story gets interesting. Fire did not simply protect our bodies, it extended our minds. A day that once ended at sunset suddenly had extra hours attached to it. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe 4. Not enough to build a city, but enough to tell a story. Enough to remember the dead. Enough to warn a child about a river crossing. Enough to imitate an animal, make the group laugh, and turn fear into meaning, and feel less alone. Contrary to what many people imagine, ancient night was not empty time. It may have been the first human classroom, and the strangest part is that the thing we now call nightlife may have begun not in cities, not in bars, not under neon signs, but in a trembling circle of fire, surrounded by miles of blackness. And around that fire, something happened that no predator had ever done. Humans began using the night to leave the present. During the day, ancient life was brutally practical. Find food, track animals, watch weather, repair tools, carry children, read footprints before they vanished. Daylight belonged to survival, and survival does not leave much room for imagination. But after sunset, when fire held back the dark, the human mind seemed to change its job. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner saw a living echo of this among the Juhuansi of the Kalahari. When she compared day conversations and night conversations, the difference was almost shocking. Daytime talk centered on economic matters, social tension, and immediate problems. But firelight talk drifted somewhere else. It moved into stories, jokes, songs, rituals, memories, distant people, and events that were not happening right now. I think this is one of the most misunderstood parts of ancient life. Storytelling was not just entertainment after a hard day. It was a survival tool wearing the mask of pleasure. A story could teach a child where danger lived. A joke could heal tension before it became violence. A myth could explain death without letting grief destroy the group. A tale about someone far away could keep a social network alive in a world with no writing, no maps, no phones, and no photographs. In other words, the campfire did not only light faces, it connected minds. And once you see that, the night stops looking like empty black space. It starts looking like the first invisible library. But the story of ancient night goes deeper, because after the talking faded, humans did not simply fall into the sleep we now call normal. For much of recorded history, people often slept in two parts. Historian Roger Ekirch studied old diaries, court records, medical books, prayer manuals, and literature, and kept finding the same strange phrases: first sleep and second sleep. People would sleep for several hours, wake in the middle of the night, stay awake for a quiet interval, and then sleep again until morning. This was not treated as a medical emergency. It was expected. That middle period had its own texture. Some people prayed. Some reflected on dreams. Some talked softly with a spouse. Some visited neighbors. Some simply lay in the dark and thought. And this raises a question I cannot ignore. What if the ancient night gave people something modern life almost never gives us anymore? Not more information, not more stimulation, but a protected space between sleep and waking where the mind could wander without being interrupted. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr tested something close to this. When volunteers were placed in long, winter-like darkness, their sleep gradually split into two blocks with a calm, waking period in between. It was as if the body had remembered an older rhythm once the artificial lights were removed. That idea is unsettling because it suggests that some of what we call insomnia may not be broken sleep at all. It may be ancient sleep, returning in a world that no longer understands it. So, if ancient sleep still lives somewhere inside us, the next question is obvious. What buried it? The answer was not one invention. It was a slow invasion of light. In the 1600s, European cities began placing lamps in public spaces, turning night from something feared into something managed. Candles became cheaper. Gas lamps pushed light deeper into the evening. And in 1879, Thomas Edison helped turn electric light into a commercial reality. After that, night was conquered room by room. The bedroom got a lamp. The street got a glow. The factory got a night shift. The living room got television. Then the human hand got a screen bright enough to tell the brain that midnight is still afternoon. This is where the story becomes personal. Ancient darkness was outside the body. Modern light is inside our routines. Your brain does not look at a phone at 11 p.m. and say, "That is technology." It sees light entering the retina. It reads brightness as daytime. It delays melatonin, the hormone that tells your body the night has begun. When that signal gets pushed later, sleep becomes thinner, fragile, easier to break. So maybe the modern problem is not just that we sleep too little. Maybe we no longer prepare for sleep at all. Our ancestors had sunset as a boundary. The sky dimmed, the fire softened, voices lowered. The body received one message. The world is changing now. We receive the opposite message. Another video, another notification, another room full of white light, another reason to stay alert when the mind should be drifting. And yet, the old rhythm is not gone. Studies of people camping without artificial light show that the body can shift back toward natural sunset faster than we expect. Beneath all our devices, the ancient clock is still there. The lesson is not that we should hate electricity. Light has saved lives, but progress without awareness always takes something with it. And what it took from us was not only darkness, it took the pause, the silence, the strange middle space where the mind could loosen its grip on the day and meet itself without a screen watching back. So tonight, try something simple. Before you sleep, give yourself 20 minutes without artificial light blasting your eyes. No phone, no ceiling light, no endless scroll, just a dim room, a quiet mind, and the uncomfortable feeling of being alone with your own thoughts. At first, it may feel boring. That is the point. Boredom is often the doorway the modern brain must pass through before it remembers how to be still. And if you wake at 2 a.m., do not panic. Do not reach for the screen like it is a rescue flare. Lie there for a moment. Listen. Let the dark be dark. Maybe nothing mystical will happen. But maybe, for a few minutes, you will feel what every human before electricity knew. Night was never empty. It was where the mind returned to itself. If this changed the way you think about sleep, darkness, or the life your body was built for, subscribe and share it with someone who still thinks waking up at night means something is wrong with them. Because sometimes the past is not behind us. Sometimes it is waiting quietly in the dark.